Hey guys, what's going on? It's Mike Morelli here from Peak Prosper, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you how you can stop putting so much pressure on yourself and learn to go with the flow of life. Learn to actually show up as someone who's calm and relaxed and is easygoing. And I would say that this is maybe the number one problem I see high performing adventurous men deal with. And it is that we put so much pressure on ourselves, so much pressure to perform, so much pressure to succeed, so much pressure to be a role model for others, so much pressure to really show up for maybe our girlfriend or our wife, our family and friends. And this is just such a common theme that I see. And really, a lot of the guys that are in our transformation program have been dealing with this in their past, but who they really want to be is someone that's easygoing, right? They go with the flow of life and they're calm and they're relaxed. And I would venture to guess that if you are a high performing adventurous man that deals with this, that you could probably look back to the past, right? And look to a time when you were that. And, for me, that was when I was in my early 20s and I was living in New Zealand. And then I was also living in Australia. For me, that was a very carefree time of my life. It was, I wasn't stressed about, little things and, making money. And, I think I had a couple $1,000s in my bank account for the majority of my life. And for me, it was just, I didn't really care or think too much about it. I was worried about, where am I going to travel to next? And I was eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and loving it. And now, these days we're talking about putting mushroom extract in our coffee in the morning and, intermittent fasting and all these different things, right? In order to kind of hack ourselves into this optimal state of being. And I'm not saying either of these things are good or bad, but the point is that we can look back to the past and say, oh, this is when I was most easygoing. And, I want to recreate that feeling, and you can. And that's why I want to share that with you today. I do want to say as a caveat that you can't go back to the person that you used to be, right? You can't do that. You can't go back in time. And this is about really evolving ourselves and learning from things that have happened in our past and really stepping into that leader who's calm, right? He's peaceful, he goes with the flow, and you can absolutely achieve that. So, if we first start off and really think about, okay, I feel that I put too much pressure on myself and I always have this pressure to succeed and really be someone else and keep evolving and grow, right? I want you to first, this is the first thing here, and I want you to stop and I want you to think about, after this video is over, I want you to think about your greatest achievements in life. All right? I want you to, videos done, get out your journal and write out what are the things that when I look back to my past that I'm most proud of? What are the achievements of my life that I can look back to and say, pat yourself on the back and say, damn, dude, like you did that. You overcame that. You set that goal and you accomplished it. What would those things be for you? This is such an important exercise, and I'll tell you why. For me, I look back to traveling to living in New Zealand, right? At that time, I was working as a student teacher. I had just finished my college degree. I was a PE teacher. To be honest with you, I didn't want to do it at all. I don't even know why I went to college, probably just because that's what we're kind of forced into doing since we're young children, right? You go to school and you get a job. And, I decided to pack up and move to the bottom of the world with my best friends. And that was a major accomplishment to me because growing up, I was always scared to sleep over at my friend's house. I mean, I was the guy calling my parents at night in the middle of the night at my friend's house saying, please come pick me up because I was scared. I would I'd like literally wet the bed growing up, like till I was like pretty, sometime like early middle school. And that was just fears that I had. And so for me to go and live at the bottom of the world in New Zealand, that was massive for me. Moving to Australia and living there for 2 years without, any friends and just showing up there with a backpack. I look at that. I look at walking across Iceland with one of my best friends, Sam, biking through southern India, overcoming 3 surgeries and a shattered heel bone. I look at these things and, overcoming major internal issues over the last couple of years, which is why I'm doing the work that I'm doing now. But, I look at these things and I say, damn, dude, you've done that. You've accomplished that. Good on you. And the reason why this equates to this feeling of pressure to succeed, pressure to perform, pressure to, grow is, as men, right? As high performing adventurous men, we rarely stop to say, good job, dude. We rarely stop to look at ourselves in the mirror and say, hey man, I'm so proud of you for the effort that you put into doing this. And one thing that I've really realized at this point at 30 years old, and I just want to really beat the drum on this and share this with you guys, is that there is no finish line. It doesn't exist. It is an illusion. This is the greatest illusion of life, is that you continue to chase higher levels of success. You continue to chase higher dopamine hits in the form of travel and, maybe being with different women or whatever the case may be. You can chase these dopamine hits, but you have to remember that chases never end. And it's not that you shouldn't continue to grow yourself and become a better person and have new experiences, but if you're continuing to chase these things to give you a deeper sense of happiness and fulfillment of life, you have to remember that the chase never ends. And so for me, I look back to my accomplishments. I'll look at them every day. I kind of have this journal that I've created for myself, and I look back and I just celebrate the fact that, hey man, you have a lot to be proud of. And I guarantee you watching this video right now, you have so much to be proud of. So when do you get to stop and say, congratulations on what you've done? What this does, this practice, is just simple gratitude, but it's also celebrating your journey and recognizing that it is the journey itself that is going to lead you to higher levels of happiness and fulfillment, and not putting so much emphasis, not putting so much weight on achieving X, whatever X is, whatever goal or desire that you have in your life. Maybe it's making more money in your business. Maybe it's, improving your health and fitness. Maybe it's finding the love of your life. Whatever it is, we put so much emphasis and so much pressure on ourselves to achieve these things. And we wind up continuing to chase, because once we achieve it, we just set another one and then another one and another one, So really for yourself, I want you to go and I want you to take out your journal and write out what your greatest accomplishments are and how you can you celebrate those things every day. And so that's step number 1. Step number 2 is when you find yourself in a situation where you feel like you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself. A typical example for me would be working on this business, right? Sometimes I can go down the rabbit hole and work too many hours in a row and not stop and take breaks, or I get into this feeling of rushing like we're trying to, accomplish a certain goal. And I can fall into that trap very, very, very easily, right? And what I do in those moments is I stop, right? I stop and I just say, what would my ideal self do in this very moment? It's a simple question. What would my ideal self do in this moment? And so if I think about my ideal self, it's someone who's calm, it's someone who's peaceful, and he goes with the flow of life. I've actually written out that my ideal self is a master at letting go. And so I just practice that and I just become that in that moment. It's a conscious choice, but we first have to gain consciousness. And the way that we do that is we stop ourselves when we start feeling this pressure and say, hey, what would my ideal self do right now? And then you answer that and say, well, he would let go. He would maybe step away from the computer for 15 minutes and just go breathe. And just go look outside at the trees, or go get some sun, or go on a walk, or go stretch, or go listen to some music, or just mix it up. We cause ourselves to suffer unnecessarily. And, you're not going to look back at 80 years old and say, well, man, I'm so glad that I killed myself with the computer or killed myself with my job. to get something done, because once that thing gets done, you're just going to create another thing and then another thing and then another thing. Remember that chases never end. So constantly ask yourself, what would my ideal self do in this situation right now? And these things that I'm telling you, they're not one and dones. There is no one and done. There is no hack or technique that I'm going to share with you that's going to say, oh my God, your life is perfect for the rest of your days. That doesn't exist. That's why a lot of self-help doesn't work, right? It's because we think that that there's going to be some magic pill, some silver bullet. These are principles. These are things to live by. And when you practice these things enough, right? When you just continue to practice these things, like all good things, right? You're a guy who probably loves to work out and train. Has there ever been one workout that changed your life for the rest of your days? No, it's a practice. But through these practices, we gain understanding. And when we gain understanding of self, when we gain understanding of how life really works, and we gain understanding of how to control this mind, that is when we gain wisdom. And wisdom always leads to the things that we're invariably looking for: love, peace, and happiness. So I hope you love this video today, guys. And I would also love to know, what are some of your greatest achievements? What are some of the things that you're most proud of? What are the things that you look back upon and say, damn, dude, nice work? Remember, you have to celebrate your journey. You have to celebrate your wins and victories. Do that constantly. That's not ego. That's just celebrating your life and what you've been able to do, right? It's okay to be proud of yourself. It's okay to celebrate your journey. Because if you don't get to, when will you? All right. Happy days, guys. Let me know what your greatest victories are. Let me know what you're most proud of down below. And thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you got tremendous value out of it, and I hope you have a great week. All right. Peace out.